Wake up. Yeah. What you tell me now? Wonder what you tell me now. Wake up. Yeah. Wonder what you tell me now? Wonder what you tell me now.
Hi, Self-Awareness, Whose Truth? I am your host, Rose. And today is a very special topic. I have been doing lots of topics on health, nutrition, the body, mind, and spirit. And today I have a very special expert on it. And before I have him to introduce himself, I would like to make you aware of electronic diseases. And this has to do with microwaves, cellular phones, flat screen TV. You need to get information on the energy that comes from these type of technology. This is something to think about. And another great DVD, I think you saw her insert on one of my shows, Disease, States of Consciousness, how the level of consciousness, what you think, what you believe, that manifests a lot of the disharmony. I don't like to use the word disease. So now I would like my special guest to introduce himself.
Oh, thank you for having me, Rose. My name is Sifu Cecil, and what I'm here to do is, as your show is Self-Awareness, Whose Truth, and I'm literally here to make aware in our community the silent epidemic, which is obesity, diabetes, and hypertension. Nationwide, this is an epidemic throughout the United States, but it's more prevalent in our community. And there's certain key points that we should be made aware of. One is what we're ingesting, both liquid and solid, our energy expenditure, how much, literally how mobile we are. We're getting into a state where everything is video games, and people have a sedentary life, and they're on their PC and they're on the internet. So the exchange of walking from point A to point B is coming less and less. In addition to that, our government subsidizes farmers to produce high amounts of corn. Hence, 90% of your products are sweetened with high fructose corn syrup, which is one of the worst ways that we could use to sweeten the foods that we should be using something like more natural, such as honey. But in addition to that, you see obesity at an epidemic proportion in our young kids, and you see the onset of diabetes not happening in later life, but in kids as young as 15, 16. So let me just break down. This is not, when I say diabetes, it's not juvenile diabetes. There's two types, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is an autoimmune disease, meaning that the pancreas, which secretes insulin, that's the hormone that allows the sugars, when they're in the bloodstream, to get into the cells so that they can be used. So when the child gets this autoimmune disease, the body's own defense mechanisms, which normally would fight a cold or a virus, for some reason, unbeknownst to us, gets tricked and kills the cells in the pancreas. I'm not talking about that type of diabetes. I'm talking about the type of diabetes type 2, which is non-insulin dependent, which is what adults used to get and still do, which is prevalent in our communities. And what happens is that obesity and hypertension cause factors to take place. We have a fatty tissue called the omentum that literally, in front you have your rectus abdominis, which some people call a six-pack, it's actually an eight-pack. All the way in back is your stomach. In between that, there's this fatty visceral tissue called the omentum. And we're finding out more and more, like, not that it has a mind of its own, but it secretes chemicals that influence onset type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is the body's inability to get the insulin from the bloodstream into the cells where it's needed, okay? So it's not being attacked because what's happening is, as you know, our system is Western medicine. So the doctors, it's not their fault. They go into medical school to learn this so-called Hippocratic oath to help people. But what's happening is is that their power comes from the prescription pad and the HMOs. The HMOs and the doctors are in cahoots with the pharmaceutical firms. So they rather see Susie or Harry or Larry come in once a month so they can bill them on that. If they have full medical coverage, they will literally, strap you with every type of pharmaceutical available for that particular ailment, not getting to the root of the problem. Okay, and at the end of the year, whatever they saved on, as far as each HMO has, the doctor has a pool of monies and assets to use. Whatever they save, they get a percentage of that, cutting a separate. How do I know this? Because as a personal trainer, I've worked for like 9 of the top clubs downtown, and some of my top clients for years have been physicians and health professionals, and they tell me flat out, today's personal trainer is like yesteryear's hairdresser. Where they said a hairdresser knows everything. You tell everything. Well, now they tell a personal trainer everything. I know when people are getting divorced months before they actually get served the papers. But here's the point. The point is, it's not in our best interest if we have a chronic disease to keep going back to the doctor who's giving us the same prescription. We need to find out what is the root of the problem. And that's what the doctors aren't doing. Okay? So the first thing you want to do, you want to find out what the person is ingesting. So what I do in my practice with the people that I work with is that I find out what have they been doing for the past year or so when